at 2117 Cathedral Avenue in Norwood, Cincinnati, Ohio, or Norwood, Ohio, doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a building, or it's a two-family, and what we're looking for, any structural issues, root intrusion, anything that may be of concern to the buyer. Our access point is a 3-inch stack in the right center of the basement, and it's a PVC, but mostly this is cast iron, and based off the age of the house, expect it to go into clay as soon as it goes through the floor, which it is. So I'm going to turn the microphone off for a second so you don't have to hear the push in the camera. So there's a little bit of build up there, but just normal. Looks like a little bit of grease. This is probably a kitchen line, and so we're not very far in. And so as we push, I will be coming back through here, and when we come back through here, we'll take a better look at it. But as you can see, a lot of this is just like grease buildup. This is probably a kitchen line, and there is also behind me is the washer and dryer, and so a lot of times you also the liquid fabric softener can also congeal, similar to that. And then you can see once we kind of got in the main line here, it doesn't really have as much of that. I'm trying to rinse the camera off here. If we need to, we can run some water. But if nothing else, a lot of times we can get all the way out to the main, rinse the camera off, and be able to come back. So, common in Norwood are whole house traps based off the age of the house or the building. Sometimes they'll limit the inspection if there is no clean out above it. A whole house trap is basically the same as like a trap underneath your sink, or the one built into your toilet that holds water. And in the early 1900s, up until about 1920, they put them in because the individual fixtures were not trapped. Now it's code to trap every individual fixture to keep the sewer vapors and stuff from coming back into the house. But back then they just trapped the whole house. And so depending on the situation, sometimes they still require them, or you have to trap, like on older homes, they'll have floor drains that don't have traps in them that you may have to replace, or you have to put the whole house trap back in. But as long as they're functioning, they're not a problem. So I know that going out so far, it's been a little hazy on the camera lens, but the line itself has looked really good structurally. So what we're going to try to do, I can see enough to see anything that, as soon as I said that, it would be a concern. if that's due or the worst things really to get on the front of these cameras are spider webs. A lot of times it's kind of funny because they something so little, but they don't come off easy. And that may be the case here. So hopefully we'll get on out to this main. We're getting pretty far out, so I don't think that there's a whole house trap on this line, which is good. But I also don't know what is. If I just turn down in the main, there we are right there. So you can see the water going by, so hopefully we'll be able to rest the camera in there for a minute and we'll be able to get this rinsed off, but it's probably spider webs. Based off of what it looks like, this is what happens, is the spider web gets on the front and regular water will not rinse it off. And so we may have to make a second pass. I didn't see anything at all concerning. It looked really good. We just have that one line going right through the center of the lens. So I can see pretty well. I think we'll be able to see well enough. So we'll go back and go a lot slower here. Like in this situation here, this looks like this is just some, see how hard it is. This just looks like this is some mineral deposits up on the side, some calcite. You can see how hard it is coming through just coming through buildup from the minerals that are in the water. There's a little more because it almost looks like concrete when you're right up on it. It could also be a little bit of mortar coming through from when they put the line in, but I think I'm going to go ahead and I probably will make a second pass. I don't really find this acceptable as far as I can see well enough, but it's not easy enough to present it to whoever may be watching this video. I'm going to try to run some water here, but there's just a pretty big layer of stuff through here. And it's getting on the front of the camera and not allowing us to really see real well. I would like this to be a little more presentable as far as the video. And so I'll go rather quick as we pull back here. As far as pulling back, but I can still see, like I mentioned, I can still see any kind of structural issues that would pop up. I would still be able to see it, but the camera should be a lot clearer than this. I can tell that the line looks really good structurally. And so the only thing I found that is even to mention is a little bit of grease when we first got into the line here at the base of this stack, which is, again, this is a kitchen stack most likely. I think based off of there's another stack behind the washer, but it doesn't have clean out access on it. And so see just the buildup of that area where it comes in. I think that's really right where the line comes in. Yes, that was a big old spider web right on the front, and they never come off. So, there we go. There's the basement there, and there's the other stack right behind that washer. And so, this is where the washing machines dump into, and so this is where it was winding in just past the base of the stack. We had a connection right here. Yep, and you can see that's where it's coming in. And so the kitchen line comes in from behind it, and then this goes in, and this has a lot of grease and stuff in it, but it's not a problem. It's not any kind of structural issue by any means, but just you know, want to let you know that that's what it is, as far as it's that white stuff along the length of the pipe. This may be yes. So I had some water running, and the right side is supposed to be cold, but it was hot. So now you have all the steam in the line. That should dissipate pretty quickly. Just not cooperating really well right now. We'll run a little bit of cold water. I'm sure you can see like a little bit of exposed edges to the pipe. That's normal for clay. That's what they did when they, a lot of times they can make turns and stuff with the clay by just kind of moving one end of the pipe into the other. They come in 3-foot sections, and so they were very short pieces of pipe, and they could get a lot of turning done. They did have fittings, but they just if they wanted to slowly jog a line over or down, it made it a lot easier, as far as they could just kind of move the connection, kind of move around the end of the pipe a little bit to get it. Get a better connection. It's almost comical where you have the steam now that's causing a little bit of a obstruction to view. It almost looks like snow or something, instead of having the spider web on the front. But hopefully with this cold water running, it'll clear this up. Most common thing we usually see in clay lines is root intrusion. And it's very good that there are no trees in the front of this building. And there is absolutely no root intrusion, which is just wonderful. And like I said, it's probably 80% of all the clay lines that I scope have some form of root intrusion, because there's no trees in the area. So you can see in the bottom left-hand corner that the pitch of the camera has an angle indicator. You can see at 9 or 10 degrees. Minimum pitch is about 1 degree, and that's usually reads 0 or 1. You only have to have about 1% grade, or it's roughly a foot every 100, 1/8 of an inch per foot. And so here we are again at the main, and it's all the way out again. And so we'll pull back and have 2 passes at this line, but it looks really good. This right here, this is there's a little bit of build up there too, but this is at the tap, and this is plenty far out. This would be the responsibility of the, if there was ever an issue at this point, would be the responsibility of the Metropolitan Sewer District. They would make any repairs, even there. Usually about 15 feet back from the from where it taps the main. A few feet up into the yard, usually around the sidewalk in most areas. So now we can see a lot better. I am very happy with this line. This is about as good as this could look for a house this age. I mean, all the clay is intact, all the connections are nice and tight. There's no root intrusion. I mean, most of the time you at least see some form of like radial or longitudinal cracks going down the pipe or around the edges just from age, and I don't even really see any of that. Especially for sitting up on the hill the way this does. Even as we run this water, you can see it's not filling up past the lens. That lens is only about a ½ an inch off the bottom of the pipe. And this is a 6-inch diameter clay pipe, so this can handle obviously a lot more water than ½ an inch. So just the fact that we're able to keep this flowing and still have open view for the camera lens is pretty good to see. There's no buildup of solids anywhere, which means everything's escaping well. The only thing we saw was right at that Y-end at the very beginning, at the base of the stack, there's some of that little bit of grease buildup, which is normal. Especially for something this age, there's always going to be some grease, even with just regular use and dishwashers and, you know, you just cleaning off the food in the sink that you can't throw in the trash. This is not to mention there's probably some lint and stuff that also gets in right there, because there are covers on these, or there's not covers on these, sorry, which should be done. The discharge pipes for the washers should have strainers on them, or they can clog up, because I can't go through the branch that comes over. It's too small diameter of pipe that comes out of that stationary tub that both of those washers dump into. You should have strainers on the discharge pipe to keep the lint, kind of like a lint trap on your dryer. You want that lint trap on your on the discharge pipe for these washers, because it can clog up the line going from most commonly it clogs up the smaller diameter line that comes from the stationary tub in this situation and ties into the main line. And neither one of these discharge pipes has a strainer. I think they're, you know, $5 for 3 of them or something at any grocery store or, you know, Walmart or something like that. But they are But you know, they can save you from having a backup when you're doing laundry. But the line itself looked really good from this stack all the way out to the main. It was in great shape. No structural issues. Nothing really of note. It's really great looking pipe. And so that'll end the inspection at 2117 Cathedral Avenue in Norwood, Ohio.